Hey, what's going on, Set Apart Gardens family? It's Dre over here at Set Apart Gardens, man. I'm just coming to y'all with a word of the day. Of course, I'm on the clock right now. You know, got my collar shirt on. But excuse me, I'm just getting over a little cold. But anyways, I hope y'all doing good, man. Hope, you know, y'all being blessed and, you know, y'all just keeping on. But anyways, the word of the day, man, and I'm gonna try to be quick with you. Hush. Chase back there going crazy, but I'm gonna try to be quick, man, and get to the point. Trust your discernment. You know, trust your spiritual discernment, and also just your wisdom too. You know, your earthly wisdom, your spiritual discernment, your mind. You know, trust your discernment. You know, when it comes to what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be operating, what the Most High put in you, what you have gathered from your observations, and apply your wisdom, right? And I say that because we live in a society to where, you know, there's a lot of propaganda going on. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of people who, you know, claim they have a word from God or from the Most High. You know what I mean? And they might try to press some sort of issue on you, or they might try to press some sort of propaganda on you. You know what I mean? They might try to fearmonger. Or they might try to make it seem like, hey, you know, there's nothing to worry about when you should be preparing for something. You know, this is not, you know, this isn't specific to any situation. This is just in general. Trust your discernment, right? Especially as believers, right? If you say you're a believer of the Most High and you follow the Bible and you have the Holy Spirit or the Ruach HaKodesh, and you say you have that, don't allow anybody from the outside to come and take the word that the Most High gave to you. You see what I'm saying? And the discernment that he gave to you. Because this is how the enemy will work, man. The Most High give you a word. He'll put something in your spirit, and you'll start, you know, putting forth action to achieve that purpose or that goal or whatever the Most High has put in you. You'll start working towards that, and then you'll have somebody, whether it be, you know, somebody. It could be somebody in your family, or it could be a video you saw online. It could be something like that, and it's telling you the whole opposite. It's telling you the contrary. Like, oh no, you should be focused on this. You should be doing that, doing this. And that causes confusion in your mind. And you're like, man, well, you know, I know the Most High just put this in my spirit, and this is what I was working towards, but maybe this person is right. Or maybe this video was sent by the Most High, sent by God as well. No, trust your discernment. Trust your discernment and quiet your spirit, quiet yourself. And this is not just, you know, spiritual, but this is also, you know, just in your everyday life. You know, like say you're running a homestead or a farm, right? And you know, okay, right now, this season, I don't need to be adding anything. I just need to focus on what I got right now, sustain what I got right now. But you might see a video or somebody might come and tell you like, hey man, you need to start buying more animals. You need to start buying more livestock, man. You need to start preparing for this, that, and the third. And then you start thinking like, well, maybe I should. But then you'll be going against your wisdom and what you know it's supposed to be done on your land, on your homestead, on your farm. And if you choose to not listen to your discernment, you can dig yourself in a hole, because you're listening to everybody else who doesn't know the day in, day out operations on your land, on your farm, on your homestead. And you know, this is a time or a season where you may just need to coast, right? Or just to sustain, to maintain what you already have, you know, and prepare for when you do want to increase whatever it is, whether it's animals, whether it's your garden space, whatever the case may be, you know, getting more fruit trees, you know what it looks like. But if you start adding too early because you didn't trust your discernment and you trust somebody else's words, or you might have saw a video where whatever the case may be, you might have gotten into some sort of fear propaganda that said, man, the sky's falling, man, you need to get as much animals and livestock as you can right now before this, that, and the third, and you hurry up and panic and rush so you can go and, you know, get this and adhere to what everybody else is saying, only for you to dig yourself in a deeper hole where you bite off more than you can chew, and you're spread way too thin because this wasn't a season for you to scale, and your discernment told you that. Your discernment told you this is a season of sustainment and maintaining and preparation instead of scaling higher, instead of adding to. So that's why it's important to trust your discernment. There's a lot of fear propaganda out there, man, and this is just in general, on a general spectrum, right? There are real things going on in the world. I'm not denying that whatsoever. There are real things going on in the world, and it's important that each one of us be diligent, you know, not only by paying attention to what's going on in the physical realm, but also quieting our spirit so we can hear what the Most High is saying and what's going on in the spiritual realm, right? But you got a lot of people who push fear. This is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. And I'm not saying that some of these things aren't gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anything bad as far as people putting, you know, news out there and events, world events that's happening. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is trust your discernment. Look at everything that's going on, and you go to the Most High, and you quiet your spirit, and you listen for a word. Don't depend on another man or a woman to lead you when you should be led by the Most High, when you should be led by what you believe in, as far as, you know, you have a relationship with God, with the Most High. You know, I know different people use different names. You know, I refer to the Most High as Yah. That's his name, Yahuwah. Some people say Yahweh, Yahweh. You know, whatever pronunciation you use, you know, as long as you know the God of the Bible, the Elohim of the Bible, and you have a relationship with him, you have just as much connection as the next person. So why are you abandoning your discernment only to fall into what they're saying? You see what I'm saying? And that's not to say that, you know, a brother or sister may bring something to your attention and you say, you know what, man, let me go and pray on that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is because, and the reason I'm saying this is because you have different people who push different agendas, right? Like, you may have somebody right here pushing this propaganda, somebody here pushing that propaganda, and you don't know where to go. Because, you know, this person, what they're saying, it sounds right. You know, this is events that's going on in the world. Same thing over here. They're saying, well, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So it's like, well, what do I do? What you need to do in that instance is say, you know what, I'm going to trust my discernment. I'm going to quiet my spirit. I'm not going to go, like, we see a lot of these prophecies, these prophets, people claiming to be prophets, and they're prophesying falsely. They're prophesying, you know, they're using low-hanging fruit, things that you can see from a mile away. Like, oh, of course, the Hollywood and a lot of these rappers and entertainers, they're gonna start going down. Oh, we know that. Like, we know that. That's no shocker. That's low-hanging fruit. We can prophesy against mega pastors and mega church pastors and their greed and all, like, because we see that. But specific prophecies, right? That's what we need to be looking for. And where do we look? Where do we find that? We find that in our word. And every time somebody in the world, you know, in this age is prophesying, you know what we need to do? We need to do what the Bible tells us to do. When a person is prophesying, we need to judge that prophecy. We need to see whether it's true. And that's trusting your discernment. We don't just take everything at face value. We listen, but we also judge. Just like, what does Mashiach or Christ tell us? He tells us you will know them by their fruit. We have to look at the fruit. You see what I'm saying? But when you have wisdom and when you have the Spirit dwelling in you, the Most High gives you discernment. Trust it. Because somebody might, you know, appear to have influence, or they might appear, you know, they might have a platform that they're speaking on, and you think that somehow their discernment is more credible than yours. But what you don't know is the heart of man. Only the Most High knows the heart of man. You see what I'm saying? So you can't abandon what the Most High put in you to follow after what a man says, because you don't know what motives that man or woman has for why they're saying what they're saying. Even though they might speak truth, they might speak a lot of truth, but that doesn't mean that they can't have ulterior motives. We have to be careful and not eat from too many tables. You see what I'm saying? Like, social media is a blessing and a curse, because we're in the age of information. A lot of stuff is coming out, a lot of information is coming out. But with that, a lot of people aren't spiritually mature enough to discern, to learn how to chew the meat, spit out the bones, and to not eat from a lot of different tables spiritually. You see what I'm saying? They're in a lot of different things. You got a lot of people, even in this Hebrew awakening, that are in a lot of different other teachings and doctrines. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not careful, you'll get into that too, because you'll see, okay, well, this is some truth. Let me start, you know, studying these other manuscripts that ain't, you know, of the Most High. They might be of Buddhism or whatever, because they contain some truth in it, and you think, well, I can apply this too. No, you know, and I ain't telling nobody what to do. I'm just using examples. I'm just talking. But I'm just saying that to say, trust your discernment. If you have a relationship with the Most High God, and you have His Holy Spirit, and you have the wisdom of what you're doing, you know, whether it's farming, whatever the case may be, trust your discernment. Don't let propaganda cause you to question what you already know to be true, because that's the whole goal of the enemy, is to confuse you and to get you off of your purpose. You see what I'm saying? Because no man knows the day nor the hour. We know the signs. We know the signs, and we look at the signs, and we're diligent, and we're always preparing ourselves spiritually for the time that is supposed to come and what is supposed to happen, and prophecy to be fulfilled. But when people try to put dates, and when people try to, you know, do all of these things based off of fear, and you got a lot of these false prophets, you had some people prophesying, oh, well, you know, Kamala Harris gonna win the presidency. And then now that she hasn't won the election, you know what I mean? They're justifying their false prophecy. This is why you can't abandon your discernment and hang on to every word that a man is saying. You shouldn't be doing that anyways. That's worship. That's worshiping of a man. That's putting somebody over the Most High, over the God that you serve. That's putting them because you're holding on to every word they're saying, but you got a whole Bible right here that you ain't even reading. You see what I'm saying? But I say all that to say, trust your discernment. Always be diligent. Always be attentive to what's going on. But don't allow the propaganda, the fear-mongering, and even the total opposite of fear-mongering, somebody telling you that everything is going to be okay, you know, because we know that's not the case. You know, we know that we don't live in a perfect world and everything ain't going to be perfect. We know that too. But trust your discernment. What's your spirit telling you? You have a relationship with the Most High. Tap into it and trust in Him, and don't allow the enemy to come into plant seeds of doubt and seeds of confusion based off of a video you might have seen, based off of what somebody may have came and said to you, or whatever the case may be. You got a lot of people who come and they come in the name of the Most High. Well, the Most High told me to tell you this. God told me to tell you this. You know, and these are the same people. They always got a word for everybody else, but they ain't never got a word for themselves. You see what I'm saying? God ain't telling them, hey, you shouldn't be fornicating, because they still in fornication. They still doing a lot of these. They're still in sin. But they got a word for you. Be careful. Don't be deceived. Don't be bewitched. You got a lot of people with ulterior motives who want to control you, whether it's with fear or whether it's with promises of just the perfect life. You see what I'm saying? Trust your discernment, and you won't go wrong. Tap into your relationship with the Most High. Trust your wisdom. If you know what is going on your land or your farm or your garden, don't let anybody come to you and tell you what you should be doing. You know what you should be doing. This is, you know, the day-to-day operations. You know what's in your bank account. You know what chores you can do every day. You know how many animals, you know, is a good amount for you to have without being too overwhelmed. You know what I mean? You know what your breeding program is supposed to look like. You know what your harvest, what you want it to be. You know, okay, this year I'm only doing this much. You know, next year I might expand. You know that. So when somebody is coming to you trying to tell you, well, no, you should be doing it. No, trust your discernment. But with that, that's all I got, family. Pray this word blessed you. And with that, I'd like to say, if you give them the power to feed you, you give them the power to starve you. Let's take back our power. Peace and blessings.